I want you to think of someone that is successful in your mind. Now, you might say someone like Grant Cardone, a real estate mogul, or Steve Jobs, Apple CEO, or Elon Musk, the founder of many companies at this point. All these people that you would envision as the most successful people really all share an important key trait that you probably are overlooking, and that's networking. But not the classic, oh, here's my business card, I'll take yours. The relationships that you build and the way that you choose to go about building them and engaging with them in the long term will determine to a very high extent if you're going to be successful or not. I want you guys to think about the term network like a king. I want you to actually think about what a medieval type of like landlord or a rich estate member or an actual king back in the day would do. Now, you might think money or birthright is what gives these people the power, but it's not. You see, kings had scribes, they had messengers, they had access to means of communication to reach out to other nobles from other kingdoms across the land. And the ability to simply communicate and have connections with other people gave them power because they were the guy that could make something far away happen. Instead of having to ride a horse 20 days, they could send off a messenger and make things happen because their connection with this kingdom far away could get them the resources they need if they simply ask for it and have the right connection. So all of a sudden, the king becomes the most important person in the village or the kingdom because he has the means to control what goes on and what relationships they build and therefore what they get out of it. Being a king means commanding presence. It means achieving strategic alliances with the people that you work with. And it also means getting a sort of mutual benefit to make sure relationships sustain long term. What I'm about to tell you is the mindset of a king. And I want you to take this and utilize it every day of your life because being able to foster good connections is going to do more for you than you could ever imagine. Because I'm going to tell you, you can't do it easily or to the level you want or the level beyond where you want without a little bit of help. So I would say the biggest mistake I made back in the day was seeking relationships for personal gain or just enjoyment. A lot of the friends I kept around were people that just made me laugh or people that I could just hang out and play Xbox with or, smoke and joke around without actually committing myself to something bigger. But that's not how you're supposed to do it. And I want you to take a look very seriously at the people you have in your life right now. Do those people actually give you a value? Do they help you in some way pursue the areas of your life that you are actively seeking to be the most successful in? I want you to think of the value they offer and actually if there is a better person that could fill that spot. Because you can always upgrade your lifestyle and your friends. There's a right and wrong way to break and build relationships. When you want to move past old relationships, you don't simply say, I'm done with you or this isn't going to work out. Any relationship has some sort of value that you probably don't value as much as other things. The geeky, nerdy kid that might not be as cool as your football player friends isn't the guy you don't want to make connections with because in 15 years when you own a business and you need website help or you need to help code something for your software, that's going to be the guy you need to go to. And simply having a connection and making sure it isn't bad is basically putting you on a winning path to start. A lot of the people I dated saw the value that I had and what I wanted to do, and they saw me as a good person for going out to do it. And in them, I took a lot of the lessons that they helped teach me about myself and about how I treat people to make myself a better person. And I thanked them for that. And I made sure that the connection that we had in the long term was good. And if they ever wanted to reach out, it wasn't going to keep the romantic door open, but I was going to be able to be on good terms with them. And if you're saying, well, they didn't really have anything to offer, then I'm going to say, why were you with them in the first place? Next, a king prepares his kingdom. A king has a personal brand that draws new connections to him. He doesn't have to go out and sales pitch himself. I'm going to tell you this quote that I heard a lot, and it's pretty simple. People want to do business with people that do business.
Oh my God! Wow!
If you were that guy for that area, let's say it's real estate, right? That's going to naturally bring more people to you because you're known as the real estate guy and everyone wants to bring their deal to you if they want it done properly. So you're naturally just going to get more deals brought to you because you're the guy that makes the shit happen. Here's how you build connections for your personal brand in a way that will always continue to grow it for you. One, you essentially pyramid scheme it, right? Or branch network out your system. Let's say you're at a party and you have two really good friends. Your friends, if they're good, right, and they actually care about you, are gonna be hype men for you, right? They're gonna be like, oh my God, this guy, he's so awesome. Like, you should see my friend over there. He works out 6 times a week. You know, he's crushing all of his goals. And then those people, right, the girls that they talk to are gonna go tell their friends if your friends do a good job, right? And ideally, the bigger impact that you have on the friends closest to you, right, is gonna keep spreading throughout the entire party. And people, you know, if you have a big enough impact, let's say you're a celebrity, everyone's gonna be like, oh, did you see that guy? Did you see that guy? Did you see that guy? And it's gonna amplify your presence among different people. So when you're building connections in business, it's really important to start small and start hard. If you have one business that you're doing marketing for, put every ounce of free time you have into that so that the impact can be magnified, because that business will say, damn, they did it better than anyone else. I have nothing to do but talk about this to my friends because I want to help my friends. And that will start amplifying your presence and your social brand. The other good way to amplify your networking is social marketing. So this could be anything simple from, I have an Instagram page I want to promote. I'm going to partner with a bigger page that's, you know, somewhat related to my content. Like, I'm a gym influencer, they're a gym, and we want to come together to share our audience and share our impact between each other. Or it can be something bigger than that. You know, you and a business could partner together to help a single client, and therefore you both are sharing the impact of your brand's reach on this one client. And they're gonna talk about both of your brands then, and you both get to share in that impact. So how do you make sure the conversations you have with your clients or your partners, or the people you want to do business with, are authentic? First, it depends on setting expectations. A lot of people come back at the end of the day and they say, oh, you promised this or that or these results, but you didn't really deliver it. You have to be very careful when you plan your business, your landing page or your social marketing emails that go out. The results that you're gonna promise people have to be met. They cannot be guesses or accurate 90% of the time. They have to be guaranteed results if you're going to market them. And you might say, well, okay, another business is saying we're gonna get you a 25% return on investment in the first year, or you're gonna get a 15,000 subscriber boost. Do you actually think that those people are creating a genuine impact that is guaranteed every single time? Or do you think they're just generalizing data? Because if you can actually show someone that the result that they're getting will happen, regardless of if it's only 3,000 followers instead of the 15, they're gonna say, these guys are reliable and they do the shit they say they're gonna do. And people actually psychologically care more about you doing what you say rather than what you promise you can do for them. That matters more in the long-term relationship. People like planning, knowing they're gonna get something done for sure, having exactly this much money come in their budget, rather than saying, well, I might have an extra $500 this month if this stock investment hits for me. So what's the best way to take a client and turn it into a valued relationship? Well, first you step outside the means of business. You know, I used to have a lemonade stand as a kid, and I set it up with my parents' garage sale that they had. And regardless of if someone bought from me or not, I would say, hey, can I help you carry that stuff out to your car? You know, if it's a mother with no one with her that just has 4 bags of stuff she's buying for her kids, I can maybe help her put that in the car. And even if she didn't buy from me, by the time she gets to the car, she's gonna say, wow, this guy really actually cared about helping me in the long run. So I'm gonna turn around and go buy a cup of lemonade from him. And I actually made more money helping people and getting larger tips based on that than actually selling the product, which was my lemonade. So your business's success is not oftentimes based, especially with client businesses, on the product you're selling or the service you're providing for them, but how willing you are to go above and beyond the impact you already are doing. So far this has been a lot of information. I'm gonna condense it to the point I wanna make with this video. As we've said, the king mindset relies on taking resources and being able to control how they are used and what relationships they're used to build. If you have the means to communicate with powerful people or have some sort of impact, try to use that. And if you don't, there's always ways, and there's no excuse really for you to not be doing that. Go on Instagram if you're an athlete and DM a bigger time, verified athlete. Or if you're a marketing agency, reach out to another marketing agency. A lot of the times, if you simply take the time to reach out and send a genuine message It's going to go a long way to building a connection. Everyone wants to have connections and alliances with people. If you guys can share advice on how you're posting gym videos or progress pics that actually engage your audience a lot better, then that connection becomes something of value and not just something where one of you is personally gaining. I want you to think back to biology class and how there's different types of relationships that you can have. You know, you have the birds that sit on top of elephants and will like eat the bugs that are, annoying them during the day. And in return, the elephants will allow the birds to sit on their back. Or you have the more parasitic relationships where a leech will attach to a human, right, and draw blood, and the human is only receiving a negative impact from that. I want you to think, are you that bird that provides a benefit and in exchange gets one? Or are you the leech that takes without the expectation of having to give back? To answer that question, I want you to think about how you see both of those animals. If you were the elephant, would you attack the bird? If you were the human, would you pull the leech off? Because I know I would. A lot of us are too blind to see the leech on us or even feel it. The romantic relationships that we have, the partners that we choose to devote our lives to, and literally share our values together is going to massively change the trajectory. And if you're only with that person or they're only with you to draw from you, then in the end, you're gonna run out of blood. But if the woman that you're with is truly there to help guide you and give you purpose and motivation and take care of the task that's gonna let you be a stronger, better man, then you're never gonna lose. And you're gonna beat all the other relationships that are simply being lethal. You need to double down on the relationships that are the bird and the elephant. And if you actually commit time and energy to those relationships, a lot of times without even looking for an actual benefit, you're gonna get the highest benefit you've ever seen in your life. A lot of times, God is watching and, the higher powers are looking down and they're gonna reward the people that want it first. And second, find ways to build genuine connections to make that happen and do it the right way. Again, back to the king. Be strategic in the relationships you form. Everyone's time is limited, but I don't want to hear the excuse of, I don't have time for this or that. You're playing video games, you're on Instagram, you're wasting time, but you're also wasting time by keeping people around that are lethal and drawing from you. What that means isn't always obvious, but it might just say, hey, let's waste your time by getting a beer, or let's waste your time by watching a movie and not, actually working on that business idea where this other friend would actually be really useful. I'd say the biggest thing people don't realize about the king is his ability to have a clear vision. The king will know what person inside his kingdom is his biggest threat, but puts on a brave and happy face to come see him. The 48 laws of power say that, deception is essentially the key to get what you want. Wait until the moment of weakness and then strike. But the person who retains the power and prevents that from happening once they have it is the person that's constantly on the lookout for the right and wrong relationships to either foster or destroy. But don't let the fear of people bringing you down keep you from fostering new connections. I want you to think of the businesses that you want to have in the future and the life that you want to lead. I want you to picture it because most people have no fucking clue what they want. When you can see the exact type of car you want, the exact house you have, what state it's in, what country it's in, what kind of partnership you have, who's working with you every day, and you actually see that exist in your head, you can see what type of people are going to be important to make that happen. You're at a bar and you see a lawyer sitting there and you spark up a conversation. That's going to be a good connection to have if you want to, own a business because you're going to need legal advice someday. And being able to have someone that, you aren't going to pay to have to consult every time that's a good friend of yours is going to be a good connection. And, in exchange, they might come to you for advice, to help their client on certain types of businesses as well. And they can learn things from you. So find those connections that are going to push your ventures forward and not back. Lastly, I believe everyone should have a story they should tell. When they're meeting new people and building connections, they need to be able to give an elevator pitch of themselves and be able to communicate themselves in a good way. This all starts from being able to communicate in general and building the skills. So doing something like having a YouTube channel or posting on social media or just finding ways to practice your speaking is going to be really essential in giving you, the ability to throw in humor or the ability to communicate and resolve different conflicts that are happening in a conversation, right? If you're selling a house to someone, you're going to be able to have to overcome objections and how to win that person over and gain your trust. These things come from having other relationships and continuously interacting with people. And that's the point of the video. People matter. And if you don't think people matter like I didn't for a long time, I thought I could do everything by myself, you're going to lose. Because I was actually a quarterback at some point, and being a quarterback means that you need every position. You might not care about the linemen, but you're going to get your ass beat if the linemen aren't there blocking for you. But you need to take time. You need to take a night in bed or take some time in the shower or, at the gym when you're resting or walking on the treadmill and think about the relationships that you have. The hardest thing you're going to have to do is let go or let fade the relationships that are toxic to you. That doesn't mean you have to be mean to them or break them off, but I know you can think of a couple, at least, relationships with people that aren't really helping, that you still feel like you have to text or keep up with. I'm going to tell you that person will always be there if they care about you, but what matters for you now is growing and pushing to the next level so that you can have all the time in the world to go back and hang out with that person. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of times you're probably not, and that's a good thing. Because we might always feel comfortable with what we have, but being able to step outside our comfort zones and take risks and experience new things and new people is going to make us more well-rounded, better communicators, and even just better people in general. So remember that, especially from someone that never really valued it. It does matter. Keep your eyes out there and keep making new connections. I'll talk to you soon.